Martin Rowe's winning. Let's see if he can keep it up. Whilst Martin Rowe had been making Silverstone look remarkably straightforward, others took a rather different perspective. Only Pride was injured as Jazz Nanda and Tim Curry turned their day and their car on its head. Far less dramatic but far more significant at the front of the pack was a stage.
Fondo, tienen 40. A 40. Izquierda 2. Fondo, con cuerda. Y a 30.
¿Estoy bien? ¿Estoy bien?
Bueno.
¿Ah?
No alcanzo a pagar la corte corriente.
Para por ella.
¿Dónde estoy? Aquí. ¿Cortaste la corriente?
Sí.
Espérate. Espérate, no me echo piedra.
En la octava especial, Osvaldo Pirles se encaraba con acelerador a fondo la mañana de domingo. El abandono de Rolando Bienzobas de Metrópoli facilitaba su camino hacia el subcampeonato. Dino Innocenti le hacía la tarea más simple al argentino y decía adiós en la curva del Totoral.
Yo no sé qué nos pasó, me cantaron la curva, entramos tal vez un poco fuera de radio y el auto botó la cola y tocó contra la orilla y ahí nos catapultó 2 o 3 vueltas, no lo tengo muy claro, digamos. Caímos dentro de una vega y ahí quedamos, hasta ahí se acabó el rally.
A nasty surprise awaits some of the field on Rally Thailand's long second leg, as Chatham Promnock is the first to find out. It costs him his top 6 placing, but he does manage to get going again. Now Italian Norberto Cangani is about to discover the same surprise. Here's a replay of the crash from the Italians' scary point of view, captured by their onboard camera. The car balances on its boot so long, Cangani even takes off his belts ready to get out. Cangani and co-driver Eros de Prima are okay, but they're still in danger. And now another car comes to grief. And the Italian pair are rushing to someone else's aid.
Al-Qasimi's brother, Sheikh Khalid Al-Qasimi, crashed out in spectacular style when his Mitsubishi Lancer hit a sand ridge and rolled several times. Al-Qasimi and co-driver Khalid Al-Kendi were taken to hospital, but were later released.
This is how one spectator saw it.
But things got a whole lot worse for John Grounds and Carl Farmer, just 1 kilometre into the stage.
You okay? Yep.
El argentino Suriani iniciaba el día con aceleración a fondo y dominando la N4.
Sube con derecha 3/4 por adentro, con izquierda a fondo.
Enzo Innocenti arriesgaba al máximo y estaba a la casa de Suriani, mientras Daniel Mas diría pronto adiós tras un error conductivo entre Barrancas y Guanaqueros.
Derecha de 4 menos y izquierda de 3 más por cuerda a la izquierda. A los 50 sube recto fondo y 50 más derecha de 4.
El serenense quedaba fuera de competencia y asumía toda la responsabilidad por el abandono.
El terreno está bastante suelto. En la izquierda entramos un poco más rápido de lo que podíamos y nos buscamos un par de vueltas, pero todo bien.
Decíamos que Daniel Mas en la categoría N4 tuvo un rendimiento irregular. Siempre a la casa del líder Walter Suriani, en el Prime 4 se pasaba en el frenaje y caía en la trampa del barro en Pelarco.
No salvamos nada. No importa, tranquilo, tranquilo. No, tranquilo, Daniel. Tranquilo, da la vuelta para acá, al otro lado, Daniel.
Daniel Mas se descontrolaba, pese a las instrucciones pausadas y serenas de su navegante Fernando Rizzo Patrón.
De 3 menos. Ya, baja con izquierda de 3 menos, ojo con derecha de 3 más, ojo, tranquilo Daniel, tranquilo. Izquierda con cuidado de 2. La U de 90 grados, tranquilo Danielito, vamos. Izquierda 1, 90 grados.
We're back in Canfield as we continue our coverage of the modified tough trucks. Scott Musselman will be our next competitor going against Roger Cardot.
Scott Musselman actually lucky to be here, just making the bump, qualifying number 15, not really having an on season, so he will struggle.
Whoa! Over he went, Musselman struggling, all right, Griff. Look at everything beginning to fall out of that truck. Well, that's why they call them tough trucks.
In fact, that speaks to the safety of these trucks, as Roger Cardot in Bubba is simply going to walk his way into advancing.
You have to wonder what Cardot thought as he came around that corner and saw that truck turned over on its side. By the way, a 26-second elapsed time. Now, we're happy to report the driver's getting out of the truck unscathed. Let's take a look at what happened one more time.
Up on the bicycle, the sidewall's bit, and basically you're doing a cartwheel. And look at that roll cage do its job, as well as the helmet, the padding, as well as the roll cage. Safety priority number 1 here when you're going fast.
Unspent energy uncoils, and that's the result.
We'll get a word here with Scott Musselman right quick as he takes a little bit of tumble right there. Hey, man, you all right, first of all?
Yep, I'm fine.
What happened?
Just hooked on the hard stuff and flipped her over.
Your truck has always been a really good handling truck, and it's cornered very, very well here. Just kind of catch up on you a little bit, or did you just kind of find something?
Yep, just come out wide, and I got in the hard stuff and hooked fast and went over.
Well, again, you can see all the safety stuff taking place right there, and he'll be back to race another day. He's fine, and he'll come back to rock and roll another day.
And as Adam Armbruster goes to the starting line, Doc has a question for Roger Cardot.
I know you're a tough competitor, but that's not the way you want to move on to another round.
Not at all. This Summit Truck Style Bubba is really on a run the last 2 weeks that we've been racing. And that's the second time a yellow truck has rolled over and run against me. And that's not what I want. I hate to see that happen to people.
You know, you look at it, when you come around there, you're very focused on racing. You're making the corner. You're thinking about all the different things that you've got to go, accelerator, on the brakes, stabbing it, working the wheel right there. What kind of goes through your mind when you make that corner and you see a truck flipped on its side?
You automatically back out of it, and the worst thing you want to see is an official running around on a track. And I was really concerned. I saw the guy, he knew enough to get out of my way, because part of it, you're also trying to get a good time, but so long as you're safe and you don't hit anybody, you back out of it and ease on through the course. So you sacrifice a good run to move for the next pairings of lane choice.
And here comes another heavy hitter, Roy Campbell. You met him earlier in the show.
This is the man that took it all last year. This is Evan O'Leary, 24 years of age, been in the sport for 9 years. Second overall in 2002. won the Taupo Rally of 2003, but have had few appearances, had some problems getting a budget together, although he's got a new car in the wings for the National Championships. That will be Mitsubishi Evo 6. This is an Evo 3, but this one, again, as Trevor alluded to, is a horsepower monster, nearly 500 horsepower. The defending champion, what can he do? In his sights, the 102.02 from Steve Murphy. Can he go better? Will he go well enough to match Murphy or Rostenberg in the final?
Yes, he'd still be well down on horsepower on Murphy's car, of course, although Murphy's car would probably be heavier. But it's an interesting battle, really, because these cars are probably a little better in the suspension. They're so well developed, you know, first of all by the factory and then by the home tuners.
38.7 at the split. That's the fastest he's done today. So he's certainly not going to give it up without a huge fight. He gets a little bit loose coming around this one. He got very sideways in his previous run. Let's see what he can do this time round. Oh, he's got it completely wrong. He flicked the bank, and that was all it took. And you can see for yourself how long it took for the car to stop tumbling, the speed that he was going when the car flicked the bank, and that is the end, sadly, for the moment anyway, for Evan O'Leary and the Total Oils and Lubricants car. The champion from last year won't be going any further. Out comes the co-driver.
Yeah, that is the fastest part of the whole hill, and I mean, if you're going to have an accident, that's the wrong place to do it. You tell by the number of times the car went over. As I've said before, though, the cars are very strong, and you know, hopefully they're okay.
Well, we said, didn't we, that the television screen is deceiving. It doesn't look quite as steep, but as you said then, Trev, it just tumbled and tumbled and tumbled. That was a very, very fast accident.
Yeah, and again, it may reflect that pressure of trying to win an event. You know, I've said it a few times, but it's easy to do the practice runs and then the elimination runs. But when it gets down to the last few, it gets a lot harder. I think they're both okay there.
That's Evan climbing out of the car now, so that's the good news. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to repeat his win of 2003, but more than that, he's got a fairly hefty repair bill on his hands too, I would think. So drama aplenty here in the final four. Well, we saw it in the final 8-2 with Paul Nicol, that the hill has lived up to its reputation and claimed 2 for the Dunlop Sprint of 2004. So once again, we're going to have a slight delay before we get underway with the rest of the runs. Still to come, of course. We'll cut this from 4 down to 2, and then we will crown a champion. Unfortunately, you saw the visual evidence for yourself. It won't be this year the chance of Evan O'Leary to make the repeat. The mangled Total Oil and Lubricants Mitsubishi. Well, they say hindsight is 20/20. We caught up with Evan yesterday and listened to what he said about the hill.
So you'll be hoping for some attention today to make those sponsors more interested?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's pretty tough out there. It's very wet, and we're getting a lot of wheel spin.
How scary is it going down that hill flat out?
It's definitely scary, but yeah, if you're scared driving these cars, you're not going to go too well. So you just got to take a risk, I suppose.
Power them around corners.
Watching Mark Burrows and having a huge moment. Over they go, and they're in the drink as well. Mark Burrows, last year's winner, and the hometown favourite, is in all sorts of trouble. The buggy is sitting down in the water. Now, here comes the rest of the field through there. They are allowed to stop, Les. Explain this rule.
Yes, if there's a bad accident, you will get time for stopping and helping people in an accident. As you see here, they jump out and swim in the channel to get Mark out because he could be under the water, and it's very unusual for Mark Burrows to make a mistake like this.
This is Rory Gallagher leading the production cup, 8 seconds ahead of his teammate David Higgins, and looking good for another strong weekend, but not anymore. The Mitsubishi ran wide there, and the front caught something. It looks no better in slow motion. If there was any justice, he would have got away with this, just clattering the side of the car on the tree you can see now. But as it was, the left front digs in, and that's the end of that.
Our second run over the stage.
His first mistake of a year that's been going well until now, so the team will probably forgive him.
Bridge 3 right. Elsewhere, cars are falling off the road at a rapid rate.
Okay, come on.
Philip Buggy parked his Fiat at the bottom of a 6-metre ravine, amazingly managing to walk away.
40 mud,
Et là, oh là là, ça glisse. Oh, elle tape. Et tonneau de Ryan Champion, incroyable. On est tout juste au début de cette deuxième journée de course. Et abandon du leader. Alors, on va voir peut-être ce qui se passe. Nous sommes avec Galligan, l'Irlandais. Regardez, on lui fait des grands signes. La route est bloquée, effectivement. Juste devant lui, eh bien, Ryan Champion est parti en tonneau dans ce virage à droite. Alors, est-ce que la route est totalement bloquée? Est-ce que la spéciale va être neutralisée, annulée? Il a l'air de pouvoir passer. En tout cas, regardez à droite, le copilote lui a fait signe OK. Donc, il peut redémarrer, Rory Gallagher. Et en tout cas, rebondissement dès le départ de cette première journée avec le tonneau de Ryan Champion qui essaye apparemment de continuer. Sa voiture a été remise sur les 4 roues par les spectateurs et les marshals présents. Et incroyable, Ryan Champion qui ne voit rien à travers le pare-brise, eh bien, roule tout doucement. Il espère pouvoir rejoindre.
Oh, där, Detta filmar du. Ja. Diggs van. Nog kunnen we stomme flaggen. Nog kunnen we stomme flaggen. Nog kunnen we stomme flaggen. Oh, där ja. Detta filmar du.
Ei vielä ainakaan.
Sudden medium right, don't cut. Repeat, don't cut. And the medium left. Oh yes. Switch.
Ja näinhän tässä kävi.
Back end of the car lifted up and we hit a bank head on and so out the rally and made quite a mess of the...
Katsotaan miten junnut pääsivät vauhtiin ensimmäisillä erikoiskokeilla. Tähän ulosajoon menee poikien mahdollisuudet taistella kärkisijoista.
Vetomieskisan tapahtumia pääsette tarkastelemaan lähemmin ensi lauantaina alkaen kello 15.20. Silloin tarjolla on puolen tunnin kooste koko huikean päivän tapahtumista.
The Rally of Westland has ended in spectacular style for Kaikoura's Regan Ross, who with the comfortable lead got a bit too casual on this corner. Neither Ross or his brother Nigel were injured. In fact, once he'd picked up the pieces of his bitsy mitzy and it was the right way out, Ross even tried to get going again. He gave up and that handed victory to Nelson's Greg Teese, who might want to shout the Ross brothers a couple of glasses of ale tonight.
This is quite nasty. Their car careered out of control, as you can see, on a fast bend in the Adelaide Hills. There they go. Unfortunately, the driver wasn't told the road had been resurfaced during the week. They really needed to know about that. Ian Wilson and his...
One more lap, but ACP has to make the jump. He had a problem with it last year.
Oh, and he does this here too. He goes end over end. Oh my goodness. Forward into the semis. Here's ACP on the jump.
He didn't hit this in practice. Again, comes up short, rolls, and luckily goes end over end. But look at that windshield, just crushed.
You think of how much weight and how much energy is being carried there. He's lucky that that's where it stopped.
And that was actually shorter than last year. Last year, he just hit the back wheels there. He hit the front, then the back, and that just sprung him right over onto the ceiling. and back onto the floor. Good to see them out and safe.
So, with ACP out, Dave Mira is still very much in this contest, but his crew has become part of that as well as we continue with the quarterfinals.
Craig Vinney in stage 5 was meant to be the final of the day. However, Jim McRae's drama was to ensure otherwise.
5 left minus, 3 right minus.
This accident was to see the final stage cancelled.
Oh! Oh!
Well, there we are. You all right?
It was a huge crash by McRae Sr., but both he and his co-driver Andy Richardson were okay.
Oh! Oh!
So Alistair McRae and Campbell Roy took outright elite victory. Beyond Waldegard was second.
Ian Kopecki, rengasrikko erikoiskokeella 6. Menetti lähes 4 minuuttia, kun tässä sitten Chikunov poistuu Karjalan koivikkoon. Chikunov, kokenut Mitsu.
Putain la vache. Putain, foutu les jetons les cons. Nic się nie stało.
Brawo!
Thank you.
Hummer is all class set against the magnificent backdrop of the Esperance coastline. Tony Flood heads for an exit from the beach. Everything seems to be under control, when all of a sudden he hits a partly hidden rock, which in turn sends the Pajero careering off course and into the bank. In a dramatic twist, it flips, lands on its roof, with the driver and navigator trapped inside. Flood tries to get the door open, and police and spectators run to assist. Some of the others try to warn approaching cars about this hidden danger. You can see here in the replay just where things go horribly wrong. The sand dunes were expected to be a great leveller, and the prophecy was certainly coming true.
Can we get her over? Can we get her over? Over here. Okay, bloody get in. Push it. I'm going to push it back.
The car is rolled back, and an appreciative crowd sends Flood on his way again, with smoke now billowing from the damaged Pajero. Approximately 30 kilometres out of Esperance, and the field is...
Putain la vache. Putain, foutu les jetons les cons.